The reasons communities choose to switch forms of government varies a great deal from place to place. In some cases, there's been some major precipitating event, an economic collapse or a scandal that leads to initiatives to change the form of government. In other cases, things just aren't going very well for the community. So it varies very much, and it depends on what's happening in a given community at that time. Many times the problems in a community relate to the people who are holding office at that time. So any form of government can go badly or can be run very well. It really just depends on the people who are in office at a given time. I do believe that a community that chooses the council manager form of government will be more likely to be protected in cases where the wrong people hold office at the local level. The research that I've done on municipal corruption with my colleague Whitney Afonso points conclusively to the council manager form as being highly protective against corruption events. If you think about the mayor-council form, many proponents of that form argue that there is greater accountability due to the election of the chief executive. However, due to separation of powers between the elected and the legislative, there's separation that also means less transparency because the mayor doesn't have to report directly to council on a day-to-day basis like the manager does. In addition, there are incentives in place related to the election process that allow for unkind actors, shall we say, to enter the process in order to influence government decisions through bribery, election interference, and that sort of thing. And so the council manager form, in which the manager is accountable on a day-to-day basis to an elected council, provides greater transparency and greater accountability. There does seem to be a belief that a mayor will be better able to realize the objectives of constituents or the needs of constituents. However, it is not necessarily the case that the mayor's objectives and incentives are going to align well with that of the residents. For example, a mayor who has eyes on higher office may be susceptible to bending to the will of an influential developer who has contacts in that higher level of government. And whereas with a manager, they're incentivized to exercise choices that will realize the public interest. And so they are actually more likely, in my opinion, to make decisions that align better with the needs of the residents of a community. Well, I think elected officials and residents value the council manager form because of the manager's ability to operationalize the vision of the elected officials. So elected officials are elected based on a platform and a vision that they present to the community, and that leads to them getting elected, and then they direct the manager by providing policy direction towards those goals, towards that vision, towards realizing that vision. And so elected officials can really concentrate on understanding what the constituents want, and they can have a manager who makes them look better by realizing that vision. And residents also like the fact that they can rely on their government to be professionally run and that it is led by a person who is dedicated to making that community better.